Thinking of selling your Denver home? Before you do, let's talk about how to avoid losing thousands to capital gains tax. Stick around and I'll share key tips to help you keep more of your profits. Are you thinking about selling your home in Denver and worried about how capital gains tax might impact your sale? Well, you're not alone. Many homeowners are confused about how this tax works and how much of their profit they might have to give to Uncle Sam. In this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about capital gains tax when selling a home in Denver. We'll cover what capital gains tax is, how much you might have to pay, strategies to minimize or avoid it, and tips to make sure you get the best outcome from your sale. I'm John Grandt with the North Star team at Compass and your Denver Real Estate Pro, here to help you navigate the local real estate market. Now let's jump right in. Let's start with the basics. What is capital gains tax and why does it matter to you when selling your home? Capital gains tax is a tax on the profit you make from selling certain assets, including real estate. In simple terms, it's the difference between what you paid for the property and what you sell it for, minus some deductions. For example, let's say you bought your home 10 years ago for $400,000. You've lived in the home for most of that time, and now, thanks to the rising market, you're able to sell it for $800,000. That's a $400,000 profit. But before you start celebrating, you might be wondering, will the IRS take a cut of that profit? This is where capital gains tax comes in, and it can feel overwhelming. But don't worry, the IRS has some rules in place that can allow you to avoid or minimize the tax depending upon your situation. Here's one of the most important rules. If the property is your primary residence, meaning you've lived there for at least 2 of the last 5 years, you could qualify for the capital gains exclusion. This allows you to exclude up to $250,000 of profit from taxes if you're single, or up to $500,000 if you're married and filing jointly. So, in our example, if you're married and made $400,000 in profit, you wouldn't have to pay any capital gains tax on that amount. That's a huge benefit. However, it's important to understand that this exclusion only applies under specific conditions. The home needs to be your primary residence for at least 2 of the past 5 years. If you've been renting it out or it's a second home, the rules are different. If you don't meet the requirements for the exclusion, your profit could be subject to taxes. This is where timing, planning, and strategy come in, and it's important to know the details before you sell. Now that we've covered the basics, let's dive deeper into strategies you can use to minimize or avoid capital gains tax when selling your Denver home. Before you do, I want to provide one disclaimer. I'm a real estate professional and not a tax expert. If you're considering selling your home, it's very important to consult with your tax professional so you have a thorough understanding of all the tax implications. Now let's get back to it. First, timing is crucial. If you haven't lived in your home for at least 2 of the last 5 years, you might want to consider waiting to sell. This is especially important if you're close to that 2-year mark because meeting the requirement can save you a significant amount in taxes. Many homeowners don't realize how much of a difference that can make. Waiting a few extra months could mean the difference between paying taxes on your profit or keeping the full amount. But let's say you've already moved out of your Denver home and are renting it out. You still have some options. As long as the home was your primary residence for at least 2 of the last 5 years, you can qualify for the exclusion, even if it's currently being rented out. This is an important detail that many people overlook, so be sure to keep track of how long you've lived in the property versus how long it's been rented out. Second, keep detailed records of home improvements. One of the best ways to reduce your capital gains is by increasing your property's adjusted basis. Now, I know adjusted basis sounds like real estate jargon, but it's actually pretty simple. Your adjusted basis is essentially the original price you paid for the property plus any improvements you've made over the years. Things like adding a new roof, remodeling your kitchen, or even installing new windows can all add to your adjusted basis. Let's go back to our example. If you bought your Denver home for $400,000 and you've spent $50,000 on improvements, your adjusted basis would now be $450,000. So if you sell your home for $800,000, your capital gain would be $350,000 instead of $400,000. That $50,000 reduction in gain could make a huge difference when it comes to your taxes. But remember, it's crucial to keep all your receipts and documentation for any work done on your home. The IRS will require proof of these expenses, so you stay organized and keep those records handy. Third, consider the 2 out of 5 year rule. I mentioned earlier that you need to have lived in your Denver home for at least 2 of the last 5 years to qualify for the exclusion. But what if you have to sell before hitting the 2-year mark? Well, there are some exceptions to the rule that could still allow you to exclude part of your capital gains, even if you don't meet the full 2-year requirement. If you're selling your home due to a change in employment, health reasons, or other unforeseen circumstances, you may qualify for a partial exclusion. This can be especially helpful if you need to sell but don't quite meet the full criteria for the exclusion. Again, it's best to consult with a tax professional to see if this applies to your situation. Now, if you're selling a second home or investment property in Denver, the rules are a bit different. For one, you won't qualify for the primary residence exclusion, which means any profit you make from the sale could be subject to capital gains tax. However, there are still strategies that can help you reduce or defer your tax liability. One popular strategy is the 1031 exchange. This allows you to defer capital gains tax by reinvesting the proceeds from the sale into another investment property. The idea is that you're not technically cashing out your investment, you're just moving it from one property to another. The 1031 exchange can be a powerful tool for real estate investors, but it comes with strict requirements. For example, you must identify the new property within 45 days of selling your old property and complete the purchase within 180 days. If you're thinking about using a 1031 exchange, I highly recommend working with a real estate attorney or tax advisor who has experience with these types of transactions. Finally, let's talk about working with professionals. Selling a home, especially in a high-demand market like Denver, can be a complex process. When you add in the tax implications, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. That's why it's so important to have a team of professionals by your side. People who can guide you through the process and make sure you're making the informed decisions every step of the way. At the North Star team, we're experts in the Denver real estate market, and we're here to help you navigate every part of the selling process. We understand the local market trends, and we know what it takes to get top dollar for your home. More importantly, we can help you strategize to ensure you're making the best possible financial decisions, including minimizing your tax liability. And when it comes to capital gains tax, it's always a good idea to consult with a tax professional. While we can provide general guidance, a tax advisor or accountant will be able to give you personalized advice based on your unique situation. They can help you figure out the best strategy to reduce or avoid taxes and ensure you're taking advantage of every deduction and exclusion available to you. If you're considering selling your home in Denver, or if you have any questions about how capital gains tax might affect your sale, don't hesitate to reach out. At the North Star team, we're here to help you make informed decisions and guide you through the entire process. We've worked with countless homeowners in Denver, and we'd love to help you too. Give us a call and let's talk about how we can help you sell your home for the best possible price while keeping more of your profit in your pocket. So what do you think of these tips, or what experience do you have dealing with capital gains tax? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tips and insights into the Denver real estate market. I'm John Grandt with the North Star team at Compass and your Denver Real Estate Pro. I'll see you next time.